What's up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Here's the thing, coming to you live. Let's go.
Oh my God!
I'm embarrassed!
He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time. Welcome in, everybody. Here's the thing with Mitch Williams and Thomas Arnone. We're excited to have everybody in today. We got a ton to talk about. We are brought to you by Phillies Sports Trips. And hey, Birds fans, Thomas Arnone with some huge news. Phillies Sports Trips has released their Eagles schedule. Make sure you go see my friends from phillysportstrips.com and reserve your spot today. You'll get to watch a Birds game in a great city and hang out with former Eagles like Hollis Thomas, David Akers, John Dorenbos, and the likes. Philly Sports Trips books at the best hotels and has the best birds available. You know you'll have a blast. Book now and tell them HED sent you. Mitch, we got through our first show. We're into our second show. I'm jacked up, and we got tons to go over, right? We'll talk about here's the thing later with Joel Embiid, the pitch clock complaints. We'll recap we'll preview Phillies Giants. We'll give a little recap of Phillies Rockies, and Trea Turner, Bryce Harper conversation is our main topic at hand, and it ties right into our poll question, and I'll let you answer it first. You're concerned about Trea Turner's slow start as a Philly. Agree or disagree? And everybody out there, let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, we're everywhere, and everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. So hit the like, subscribe, follow, and most importantly, comment in. Let us know how you feel about the poll. Are you concerned? Are you not concerned? Can't wait to hear from you. Mitch, what do you say?
I'm not really that concerned about Trea. What I am concerned about is the fact that he is not trusting himself at all. At the plate, if I'm a pitcher watching video of Trea Turner right now, all I'm going to do is live on the outer third of the plate. He is deciding to swing. It looks like before the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. So if you pitch him away, right now he's an out. Until he gets back to being the guy that lets the ball travel, get deeper, and trust how quick his hands are, he's going to struggle.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. We watched Nick do it last year. Nick was doing a lot of guessing at the plate. You know, he wasn't trusting what he was seeing. He just wanted to go up to the plate and say, hey, I'm swinging no matter what. Right? And then you're watching balls hit the dirt 20 feet in front of the plate, and he's letting it go on.
Or 3 feet outside. How many times have we seen Trea swing at a ball that's 2 feet off the plate away? That, to me, and I know Kevin Long is a tremendous hitting coach. His only thought process right now should be driving the ball to right field. Once he starts driving the ball to right field, then you will see the Trea Turner that they went out and paid $300 million for.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We were just talking that before we came on, right? Think middle, think away. You know, these guys get pool happy. They want to jack stuff. They feel like they're one homer away from breaking out instead of like we talked about last week. We know when Harper's about to get going because he drives the ball. He drives the ball out away, and he said, here it comes. Same thing used to happen with Ryan Howard, right? You would watch Ryan Howard start hitting homers away, and he said, well, here comes a stretch, right? A stretch of him just being scorching hot. Same thing with Trea. You know, I disagree to the poll too, because I'm not concerned about a slow start yet. Guys, some guys are slow starters, some guys are fast starters. Not making excuses for him. His numbers always get to his numbers throughout his career. I think he's too good not to figure it out. I want to believe that he's played in big enough places and cities like LA that the pressure of playing here and the money shouldn't really be the thing like it may have been for Nick, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same thing there. And he also isn't living in Ben Simmons' former house either. So he has that going for him. I think Trea's going to be fine. I think he's going to hit. You know, I think the World Baseball Classic, when I was watching him hit homer after homer, I said, well, this isn't going to be good because he's going to start slow now.
No,
right?
Because pitchers, they act like pitchers don't watch video. Pitchers watch video of hitters. And I look back on probably the greatest hitter I don't even know played against. I don't even think I played against him, but watched was Miguel Cabrera. I watched this guy one night take a ball 6 inches off the plate inside and hit it out of right center in Detroit. That to me is a guy you have no way to attack him and get him out the same way every time. Right now, pitchers can get Trea Turner out the exact same way every at bat.
Until he decides to adjust.
Exactly. I would love to see him. I don't care if he hits a home run to right field. I want to see him hit a ball hard down the right field line or in the gap in right center. When that starts happening, you'll start getting your money's worth out of Trea Turner.
Yeah, and even defensively, like we talked about before we came on, defensively he's been a meh. And he's too good. He's too good to have the lulls he's had defensively. The other night, Saturday night, there was a line drive hit at him. I mean, a line drive hit at him. It was routine. Now, I know it was hit hard, but everything's hit hard at the big league level. These guys are used to that.
In yesterday's game, Nola obviously was struggling again. Colorado is one place you cannot be around the side of the baseball because your curveball is going to hang, which it did. But then he gets a ground ball, double play ball to Stott, who throws it to Turner. It was Crone running. That's like me running to first base. He had all day to set his feet and make the throw. He makes the throw off balance, throws it away, and extends the inning. That's the kind of thing you can't have happen when Aaron Nola is on the mound.
Yeah, and the problem is you're seeing the same things that we talked about last week, right? So it doesn't look like that adjustment's coming from Aaron Nola either. And we need it to come. We need it.
It has to come. If not, I fully understand why the Phillies have not re-signed him. I mean, there's no question in my mind why they haven't, because some other team is going to give him $200 million because he's been durable. But durable is great as long as you're winning. Last year, he had a great year. He was on top of the ball more last year. This year, it just doesn't. It's not rocket science. I wish he and Wheeler both have a similar leg kick where they kick their knee up, bring their heel back in, like underneath their butt. That's all wasted motion. All you have to do, pick your kick leg up and fall. It's so simple. And I talked to you the other day about Wheeler. He started the game, and when he started in his delivery, he'd step back, close his shoulders, and then go. Soon as he gets to his stretch, picks his leg up, there is no close, and now everything is flat and he can't command it. These are things that pitching coaches have to pick up on, and they're adjustments, in-game adjustments that are simple to make.
No, I agree. I agree. We're talking about guys who've done this for a long time. That's the problem. So to make these adjustments shouldn't be as hard as an amateur athlete making these types of adjustments that take weeks, months, etc. Right? I mean, these are the best of the best. And I messaged you back with, I don't know how you don't feel it. Right? I don't know how you don't feel yourself flying when you're flying open. Same as a hitter. Like I'll never understand as a hitter that flies open with their front shoulder and instead of staying through the baseball and letting your hands are taking your shoulder open. Your shoulder doesn't take your hands open. It doesn't even make sense. So exactly. I don't understand the same thing as a pitcher. My shoulder is not taking my hand through. My drive through is taking my shoulder.
Your front side has to pull your backside through. And if it's like we talked about last week, this is not pulling your backside through. This pulling down pulls your arm up into release point, whether it's 3/4, over the top, whatever. Your fingers have to be on top of the ball. And these guys, I understand it. There's sometimes even big league pitchers can't feel it. But that's why they hire pitching coaches. It's their job to watch that pitcher and what he's doing and go out and have a conversation and say, look, you're not getting closed. You're not getting up and back. It's simple in-game adjustments. And right now, neither one of them are doing a very good job of doing it.
Yeah, and that's what's scary moving forward with the Phillies. We played great baseball over the last week, right? So
Yeah.
that's a positive. We took 2 out of 3 in a place that we haven't taken 2 out of 3 of in a long, long time in Colorado. It's been like a little bit of a house of horrors for us. So to go there, be able to take 2 or 3 the way we did, coming off being hot the week before too, you ended up being winners of 5 in a row. So you're starting to play better baseball. That all being said, we're not going anywhere unless we were and Noah are close to the level they were last year. I mean, we need that more than anything. So that has to get fixed.
It has to get fixed. And the other thing, getting Bryce back. You watch this guy 5 months removed from Tommy John surgery. He doesn't go up there. He ain't got one of them big elbow pads on. He's got on a black sleeve that has a little bit of padding in it. And he's busting his ass on a double the other night, sliding feet first. He's smart enough to have changed his game from sliding head first to feet first to protect his arm. I just don't understand why every baseball player doesn't have that mentality. He wants to win at all costs. He wants to win.
Right? There's a lot of me that goes around, a lot of I that goes around, not only at the pro level, but every level, right? A lot of I. There's not a lot of guys that are team guys, right? And they're going to get their numbers because they're great, like a Bryce Harper, right? But even when he was younger, he might not have been like that. But as you get older, you mature, right? You grow into stuff. Then it becomes, you know what? My numbers are always going to be my numbers. I'm great, but I want to win. I want to have a legacy of winning. And that's what Bryce Harper wants. And you can see it. We can watch it. How he came back quick, not only from this injury, but every time how he's
hitting the
rushed
face
himself
with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He's back on the lineup before you know it. This guy, the money they paid him, he's worth every nickel of that money because he plays the game of baseball the way it was designed to be played. If they give you 9 innings, you play 9 innings as hard as you can play them. If he takes 20 innings, you play 20 innings as hard as you can play them. I'll give you an example of mentality. Back in 93, we were playing the Giants. We're down 9-0 after 6 innings.
Sorry, I was at this game. Go ahead.
Wes Chamberlain hit a line drive back to the pitcher who it went in his glove. He didn't catch it. And then he spiked the ball on the mound. And that pissed everyone off in our dugout. And we came back and beat them. That's the kind of mentality I want to be a part of. That's the kind of mentality Bryce wants to be a part of. I just wish more of them would follow it.
Yeah, and that's such a great game. Yeah, not a lot of guys have that in them, right? Not a lot of guys have it in them, and that's the sad part. But at least our leader does, right? And we talked about following the leader. And, what a little concerning is, does Bryce Harper get suspended for yesterday? I wonder if Major League Baseball is going to suspend him for that. I would hope not. That doesn't feel like a suspension-worthy thing, even though benches were cleared. What's your thoughts on that?
I didn't actually see it yesterday because I was watching that god-awful Sixers game. But what, did he go to the mound?
No, he went, and I was right with you because I was doing a live reaction to the Sixers at the time, and the Phillies weren't on. But seeing it again, it looked like their pitcher said something when he was walking off the mound into his dugout, and that created Harper to come out of the dugout and sort of go towards their dugout. No fights happen, just a little,
there won't
grabbing.
Be a suspension. There should not be a suspension. What should happen is if the pitcher from the other team said something, that's called provocation. You're provoking him. And he didn't go out on the field and whip his ass, obviously. Had that happened, for me, that would have been fine. Bryce should not be suspended for anything like that. Even if he gets buzzed again, knocked down again, thrown at, he has every right to defend himself. I knew when I hit somebody, I only hit 3 guys on purpose my entire career. But I wasn't going to run. I wasn't going to be tired and have to fight. I'm going to stand there and fight. So, Bryce, in my opinion, I hope he did it so the rest of his teammates could see it.
Yeah, and they were right out of the dugout with him, and he talked about that after the game as well. And these guys obviously had his back, and he appreciated that. He mentioned that how his teammates got his back, and this is why this team's going to overcome, some of the early struggles like they did last year. I think they're mentally tough as a group, and like we talk about with the Sixers, and we'll talk about later on in the show. You follow your stars in sports,
Exactly.
and if winning matters more, if guys hate losing more than they like winning, the rest of those guys will follow suit. They will. It's just the way it goes. Does it always work like that to equal a championship? No, but it works like that to become a playoff team, to go deep in the postseason, to have an opportunity to play for world championships every year. And JT's cut from the same cloth Bryce Harper's cut from. The guy wants to catch every day. He wants to play every day. You almost got to save JT from himself. Schwarber, same mentality.
Yes.
So when you have a bunch of that, Nick, when people used to ask Nick if he's a leader, he would say, ask my teammates. Like, don't ask me if I'm a leader. Ask the guys around me if I'm a leader. So when you surround all that, and even Trea's a guy who wants to win, right? When you surround all that around each other, listen, I mean, you're set up for success for a long time as an organization, in my opinion.
The great thing about this team is they're just adjustments away from being a really, really good baseball team. They just have to make the adjustments. I mean, you've seen Harper do it. For 4 games, he went up there and hit without batting gloves because he obviously didn't have a feel for the bat. Now he's back wearing his batting gloves, but he was hitting over 400 the last I looked.
Yeah, he's
there has to be accountability. And if there isn't accountability to the man, and this is why I've always said, Tom, every young athlete should have to wrestle. Because if you go out on a mat and you get your head stuck in your own ass by some kid, it's hard to walk off the mat and blame your coach or your teammates. It teaches you accountability, and that stays with you the rest of your athletic career.
It's the truth. I mean, that's real. That's totally real. He's batting .333 now, but that was yesterday. He was 0 for 3. So probably before that, he was right around 400.
Yeah,
with his ABs. B-ball Josh has a great. And I let you off the hook with that one too. Who were the 3 you hit on purpose?
I hit Jim Rice on purpose because Marty Barrett, the second baseman for the Red Sox, ran his mouth at second base. I ended up going after him. Well, Al Bumbry, their first base coach, had both my arms behind my back, and Jim Rice was filling my face full of right hooks. So the next time I faced him, I drilled him. I was brought in one day in San Francisco to hit Barry Bonds because he spiked Mickey Morandini in the chest sliding into second base.
Oh,
and the last guy was a guy named Sanders, Reggie Sanders, from the Reds.
Yep.
And he had done something. I never hit anyone for showing me up or doing whatever they want to do. I only said something to one guy in my whole career, and that was George Bell. He hit a ball off me at the former Toronto Argonauts football stadium where the Blue Jays used to play that almost went off the roof of the stands in left field. It was a grand slam to end the game. I'm walking off the field, and George is still in the batter's box. So I walked by him, and I said, George, why don't you go ahead and run so I don't have to hit you in the face the next time I face you? But that's it. I only hit guys to protect my teammates. That's it.
Love that. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. And when we come back, we'll preview the series coming up between the Phillies and the Giants and our good friend Gabe Kapler. And an important series for the Phillies. One, I love West Coast trips because I get to watch games easier. But two, this is a bad Giants team that we're going to see.
Well, regardless, Gabe is going to be proud of them. Proud of their effort.
Tremendous competitors.
Oh, yes.
Tremendous competitors. We'll be right back. Commercial break brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Stay right here.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
There you have it. Book today, phillysportstrips.com. So Phillies taking on the Giants. 3-game set starts tonight. I would assume it's 10. Let me confirm that with the people. 9:45, and the Giants 17-23. They've lost their last three. They just lost it. They got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks playing good baseball. Tonight's matchup is Bailey Falter, Alex Wood. So not a great pitching matchup for us tonight. Alex Wood, one of their better arms out there in San Francisco. So
Bailey's going to have to locate. When you're only throwing 90, 91, you better be able to locate the baseball. Because if you can't, you're going to get hammered.
He is, and he has, right? I mean, he has this year. He's gotten hammered. He's gotten hammered a little bit too much. I could really use him to go a little bit deeper into this game tonight. Most importantly, just keep us in it.
Yeah.
Keep us in it. Let us get to their bullpen a little bit. And try to go sort of air quotes steal this game against one of their better arms.
Anytime you have stuff like Bailey Falter, he likes to pitch up when he's ahead in the count. And if he doesn't get it up, it's going to be a home run. He needs to start learning how to locate the ball on the outer third of the plate down and do a better job of that. Then his high fastball, as long as it's in the middle of the plate, like we talked about last week, at the top of the catcher's helmet, he'll punch out a lot of guys. I watched Don Sutton, who could stand on my forehead and not puff my lip with his fastball, have success throwing 85 with a big looping curveball because he could locate both of them whenever he wanted to. I couldn't stand him as a guy, but he knew how to pitch.
Which is so important. Sorry, there's somebody saying Philly Liverpool saying it's Connor Brogdon tonight. We're doing an opener. Okay, maybe we are. Yeah, I got the latest alert.
Connor Brogdon
Off the ESPN app. So why would it not be Falter? What Philly Liverpool? What's wrong with it? Why would it not be Falter tonight? Why would they go with an opener? What am I missing? What did I miss here? I must have missed something during this upsetting Sixers run.
So this is going to be a bullpen game tonight?
Looks like it. If that's the case, if Brogdon's getting the start, this is gonna be an interesting one tonight.
I'll tell you what, I love this kid's stuff, but somebody needs to take this kid out for steak and potatoes every single day. My goodness, he's what is he, 6'4" and weigh 165, 170 pounds?
Yeah, he is thin. Yeah, and that's being nice.
And this is a guy, he's got a real live arm and an outstanding changeup. He just needs to trust it. As long as he's trusting it, he's got good stuff.
No, he does. I mean, I love his changeup. I think his changeup's great. But like you said, when he's trusted, Don has a question. Is Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola both aces?
I'll give my personal opinion. Aaron Nola, last year, I believe he finished 4th in the Cy Young. Well, that ain't the same guy that we're seeing this year. He is not an ace. He wouldn't even for me, he wouldn't even be a 2. He would be a good 3. Wheeler has the stuff to be an ace. He just needs to make sure his mechanics are the same and he can repeat them every time he picks his leg up.
Yeah, he's always had the ace stuff. I would say with him is durability and consistency are the two things that we look at when we talk about Zach Wheeler that aren't there all the time. When Nola, I would say, obviously the durability's been there his whole career. The consistency, a little iffy with him too. But I would say he's probably been a little bit more consistent throughout his career just because he's been more durable than Wheeler throughout their careers. But right now,
he does not have the stuff. Nola does not have the stuff to be an ace. He's throwing 91, 92. Wheeler the other day was hitting 99 when he was staying closed with his front side. When you blow open, you expose your elbow to injury, you can't locate, and everything flattens out.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have the ace stuff, Nola.
No.
A great 2 when he's Aaron Nola. He's a great 2 behind a guy like Wheeler. They're a good 1-2 punch, especially if you're talking about playoff series. When you're seeing one guy throwing 99, next guy you're facing is more locate, slower, more change ups, more curveballs, etc. Gives you a little bit of a different look too, which in my opinion sets teams up a little bit and sets the Phillies up.
Getting Ranger back is going to help. Ranger didn't look great, but I promise you his next start, his location will be better. This is a guy that knows how to pitch. So having Ranger back is going to help this team a bunch.
Couldn't agree more. Tough place to go pitch in Colorado too. Not the easiest place for your return. Right. I get my return in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's fun. So I couldn't agree more. I think Ranger's going to be totally fine. Such a big guy to get back to lengthen this rotation out a little bit, which I think helps everybody. So Matt Gelb says Phillies will use Connor Brogdon as an opener tonight. Bailey Falter is slated to have the bulk of the innings from the bullpen. So
that's, in my opinion, Bailey Falter should be a long guy. I don't know him. I know nothing about him personally. All I can comment on is what I see on the field. He's a guy that if the game is out of hand, go out there and eat up some innings. I mean, how many relievers they got now? 9?
Yeah.
I just don't get that. How can you get 9 relievers enough work? It's almost impossible.
And guys are still, even with 9 relievers, guys are still aren't available.
I can't throw 2 days in a row. Oh, my gosh. But they get paid every day. That's the part that pisses me off. You get paid every day. You should be available every day. That's how I view it. They don't pay you just the day you pitch. If they did, trust me, those guys would be available. If they only got paid on the days they pitch, they would be in the manager's office every day going, I'm good to go.
It's true. They would be.
Yep.
It would be. You only get your little bonuses and you only get paid on days you actually enter the game.
Exactly.
Guys will be banging the door down to throw. Banging the door down. Where was that? So yeah, I mean, I don't hate them doing that tonight. It's something different. Maybe they feel like Falter's
Connor
better out of the
Brogdon.
pen.
I'm sure Connor started his whole minor league career. I doubt he pitched out of the bullpen. If he did, it wasn't much. So he knows how to start. He knows how to go out there and make the pitches he needs to make to get outs. It's just a matter of, is he going to do it?
Great. So it'd probably be you probably get the first 2 innings from him if you're lucky. You're hoping to get 2 from him, is my guess. And then they would go to Falter, hope to get 3 or 4 from him in a long relief. Takes you to the 7th. Right, you get 4 from him, takes you to the 7th, and then you can set up your bullpen if you have the lead. right?
Well,
So
I think
I guess
what
that's our
Rob
guess.
is doing, what Thompson's doing, he's going to start Brogdon because the hitters are going to be seeing 96, 97 with a nasty changeup for one time through the order. And then they're going to have to face Falter, who's going to come in throwing 90, 91. That's a little harder to adjust to than the other way around.
Agreed. It makes sense. Something different. Throw him a little air quote curveball tonight to our good friend, Gabe Kapler, and spitting out ice cream. So somebody get him a cone tonight. I do think the Phillies sort of make up for their last West Coast trip series, which was in LA, which was downright atrocious, where Clemens had a pitch and not Roger had a pitch 2 out of the 3 games for this baseball team. So
and that to me, explain that to me. You have 9 relievers and you have to use a position player. Come on.
Well, I hate it too because it's waving the white flag too.
Yeah, we surrender.
Yeah, like then just put in a run rule. Like that's what I say to Major League Baseball. Instead of the dog and pony show of having position players have to come in and throw, okay, which is like funny if it happened once a year. Like, oh, that's funny, okay, right? When it shouldn't happen. They just put in a run rule. All right, put in 12 after 7 or something. I don't know. Somebody's beating the doors off of somebody, then you call it. You want to put in blocks. You want to speed everything else up. We'll put in run rules. Because why are teams even playing if they're down 10? If you're down 10, you shouldn't have a chance to come back. Call it a day after 7.
But that's the thing. They give you 9 innings to play. And if you've got the heart and the guts, you go out and play all 9.
Yep.
No matter what the score is. And that was one thing I loved about Sean Dunston, the shortstop for the Cubs when I played with him. He was one of the pitcher's favorite people because we were getting beat 13-1 one night. And there's a line drive hit up the middle. Sean lays out, fields it, jumps up, throws the guy out at first base. How many guys do you know in a 13-1 game are going to lay their ass out on a dive to make a play for you as a pitcher? That's
many.
why Sean Dunston was one of my favorite teammates.
He played nothing, 27 outs. Played the game the same. Played the game the same the whole way through. But when managers are then throwing waving the white flag, then the players, well, this game's over. Clemens is thrown. So then it becomes now it becomes a stupid product.
So what if Cody goes out there and hurts his arm on the mound?
Yeah.
Now you've lost a left-handed bat off your bench. It's counterproductive no matter how you look at it.
So you just let the game finish with one of your relievers. I don't know. I hate it. I hate some of the things that baseball gets themselves into. But what do you think? You think we go in, San Francisco not a good team? Do we keep playing good baseball, take another road series? Because all we're looking to do is go 2-3 again, right?
I think they can go to Frisco and sweep that team. And
I like that even better.
Even after, if they do sweep them, I promise you, Gabe is going to tell you how proud of his players he is. Even if they get swept, rather than put a boot in their ass for losing 6 straight, which they have the opportunity to do if the Phillies do sweep them, he's going to tell you how proud of the effort he is. I don't want a manager like that. I don't want to be lied to. That's why I loved Philly. I got booed on a pitch-to-pitch basis in this town. Why? Because Philly fans are honest, and that's what it's all about. I don't need smoke blown up my ass. I need to be told the truth. That's the only way you're ever going to get everything out of the athlete. Tell them the truth.
Everybody's scared to nowadays a little bit, right? People like Gabe are scared too. I'll say it like that. People like Gabe Kapler scared to tell people the truth. So, okay, 3 against the Giants. Then they come home, right? And they got the Cubs for 3 games, Diamondbacks for 3 games, and then a monster early series against the Braves in Atlanta, which is always a little scary going there. So this is a big stretch of teams that you're supposed to, air quote, beat up on a little bit when Giants aren't a good baseball team at all. Cubs are tough. They're tough. Still not as good of a baseball team as the Phillies. They're coming here. That's got to be 2 out of 3. And the Diamondbacks are playing very good baseball early on this year. So that's a tough team coming into here for 3. But, you got a 6-game homestand after this San Fran trip. So the next 9 games, I almost feel like that you got to be 6-3.
You got to be better than that. You have to be better than that. The pitching staff has got to start performing up to the standards of the lineup. The lineup is going out there, with the exception of yesterday, is going out there and doing a pretty good job. Now it's time for the pitching staff, the starters, to start giving this team what they need, and that's a little bit of length, because their bullpen is full of nasty arms. They have got some great arms in that bullpen. I just really wish Rob Thompson would assign roles. Once you assign a role to a guy, he can prepare for that role. I would have never been effective if I came in the 7th inning, for the simple fact the game ain't on the line and the hitter's ego ain't coming into play. I would have walked way more guys than I already did if I pitched in that 7th inning. When I got traded to Houston, we're playing the Phillies. We came here, and Terry Collins was the manager of the Astros at the time. I wasn't throwing the ball particularly well. As a matter of fact, I stunk. He went over to Fergosi and said, "Where else can I use Mitch Williams out of the bullpen?" Jimmy looked at him and said, "Nowhere." He said, "He can only close. That's it." And it was the truth, because he knew I understood the ego of the hitter.
Which is true. And it goes for a lot of guys. Like, listen, creatures of habit.
Yes.
Creatures of habit. I've yelled this on these airways for, goodness gracious, 8 years now, I think, right? Trying to explain that to people. And, same thing when Gabe used to do it to the lineup, right? I can speak more as a hitter than the pitching side of it, right? But it's the same concept, right? If I'm hitting in a spot that I'm comfortable there, I can't come to the ballpark. One night I'm batting in the 3-hole. Next night I'm batting in the 6th. Next night I'm batting 8th. Then I'm batting 2. And every few games is something different. Now, you want to talk about every couple weeks, things get adjusted depending on how we're playing? Sure. Everybody's got to be open for that conversation. But not an every 3-game situation like Gabe used to do here. I mean, he would literally put it in a hat, pick out names, and that's where you were batting today. It's not okay. This isn't amateur sports again, where you can say, all right, I'm going to really switch my lineup around. We're not playing 162. So I can do that. When you're talking about these guys, they're comfortable in places. And when you get comfortable in place and you knock off a guy out of his comfort zone a little bit, right? I feel like there's more opportunities to struggle. And especially with closers. Closers know how to get themselves ready for the 9th. You throw them in the 7th, the intensity of the 7th inning isn't the same as the 9th. The hardest 3 outs are the last 3. So that's why that guy gets the most money in my bullpen. My closer gets the most money because they're the hardest outs in baseball. Now, they get harder as the game goes on, obviously. Your last 9 are harder than the 12, 9, 6, 3. But 3's the hardest.
See, I'm going to disagree with that. The hardest outs in baseball are in the 7th and 8th inning. David West and Larry Anderson, they got all the hard outs in 1993. All I had to do was come in and get 3 outs. And I knew every hitter's nitro zone in the league and just tried to stay out of it. That's why I didn't give up that many home runs. If I got a guy standing on deck that I know can't touch me, and the guy at the plate has got a good chance of hitting me, the guy at the plate is swinging at balls or he's walking. It's that simple.
Agree. The only disagreement I have is I feel like guys are a little bit more, their level of focus goes up a little bit as a hitter in the 9th, a little bit more. Like, their attention to detail may be a little bit higher in the 9th than in the 7th. But again, I understand the high leverage spots in the
You
7th
have
and
to
8th
throw
too.
strikes in the 7th and 8th. In the 9th, you have to throw strike one. That's it. Throw strike one. If you throw strike one, in my opinion, the at bat is over because you're not seeing another strike.
And I do agree with you on that one too. Headers are more aggressive in the 9th, like you were
Yes,
talking
they
about
all
last
want to
week.
read their name in the paper. Oh, hit a walk-off homer. No, you're walking off, but it's back to the dugout.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, that's our first disagreement here. About time.
Yeah.
We're a second show, 20 minutes ago from wrapping up our second show. I was waiting for it, but guess what? We see eye to eye on a lot of things. I mean, we can't be around a campfire the whole time. But I agree with that premise of strike one, and then you can get guys being way too aggressive at the plate too.
And it's all how you deal. And we'll get to something later on when we talk about Embiid that I learned at a very young age, but we'll get to that later. But the Phillies right now, to answer one of the questions, they're surging a bit. What's your biggest key to this win streak? It's going to be the pitching staff, the starters. If the starters can give them depth against the Giants, that bullpen is going to shut them down. That's going to be a key to keeping this streak going. They're starting a new one, actually, because they lost yesterday. But to keep playing good baseball, they have to get depth out of their starters.
Yeah, if you look at these wins, right, starting with the Red Sox, that's a 6-1 win, where it started this last little win streak. Blue Jays was an 8-4 win. I'm trying to remember exactly. Give me 1 second. I'm just pulling up that box score because to go to your point, you did get a good effort out of Aaron Nola in that game, in that 8-4 win. He went 6, only gave up 2, 6 strikeouts, right? And then the back end, the rest of your pen was lights out in that game. So you got great pitching in that one, even though it was an 8-4 win. Then you won 2-1 against the Blue Jays that Sunday, right? And you obviously got a great outing from Wheeler that day.
Yeah.
To go with your point, he went 7. Okay, then you go the Rockies. You went 6-3 that first game there. That was Walker. He went 6. Maybe one of his better outings as a Philly, right? So it's all lining up. It's all lining up.
Taijuan Walker, when he's able to locate his fastball. I showed you a grip the other day when you were here at the house for a split finger.
Yep.
His split is filthy. As long as he's able to locate his fastball, and that split comes into play because they're swinging at arm speed and the bottom falls out of it.
It's true. So what do we got left? We got to get into Embiid. Yeah, we do got to get into Embiid. All right, let me give you a little read here from Philly Sports Trips. Hey, Birds fans, Tom Arnone with some huge news. Philly Sports Trips have released their Eagles schedule. Make sure to go see my friends from PhillySportsTrips.com and reserve your spot today. You'll get to watch a Birds game in a great city and hang with former Eagles like Hollis Thomas, Vince Papali, John Dorenbos, David Akers. Philly Sports Trips books at the best hotels and has the best birds available. You'll have a blast. Book now and tell them HUD sent you. So, we have the pitch clock complaints.
That one.
And then we'll get into our here's the thing with Joel Embiid. And we have about 17 minutes left of the show, so we got time. So the pitch clock complaints, Mitch, I know you wanted to get into this. So let the people hear it and let them have it.
To me, pitchers bitching about the pitch clock is absolutely absurd. If it was up to me, I would have wanted a 7-second pitch clock. I don't want that hitter getting in that box and getting comfortable. If you can't adjust to that, to me, it's amazing. You throw the next pitch based on the previous pitch. And if you don't know what you're throwing next, you shouldn't be at the big league level. Every pitch is designed to set up the next one. And it don't take 20 seconds to figure that out. And the quicker the hitter has to get in that box. I saw it on the road trip in Colorado. Bryce got in there. He didn't even get set Left-hander threw him a curveball, and Bryce was just standing there, and he took it for a strike. That is where pitchers need to understand it is designed to help them.
Yeah.
It's designed to help pitchers. Hitters, I mean, you watch all the gloves and this and that. They adjust everything, check their pocket. No, don't let them get comfortable. You should be thrilled as a pitcher that the hitter only has 20 seconds to get in that box and be ready to hit. So quit bitching about it.
Yeah, make an adjustment. It's not like it's not brand new, right? You want to have some issues with it in spring training. You get used to a little bit. Your first maybe 2 or 3 outings to start a season, right? There's some changes you need to make, right? To how you go about your business on the mound. But after that, it's been here now. Like now you get used to it. Stop talking about it. That's where I'm at now in the middle of May. Stop talking about it. It's been going on for a month and a half of regular season baseball, and it started in spring training. You're either going to get used to it or you're not. But stop looking for cop-outs. Stop looking for excuses. Stop looking to lift up every damn rock out there to find an excuse on why your outing wasn't good enough. Just come in front of the microphone and say, I wasn't good enough today or tonight. Who cares?
How hard is that to do? Yeah, it's like they want sympathy for it. Well, I'll tell you what my father told me about sympathy when I was a kid. You want sympathy? It's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. That's what he thought about sympathy. There is no sympathy in baseball. Should be no sympathy in sports, period. You go out there, you go as hard as you can go for as long as you can go. It's either good enough or it's not. And the next day you show up and be ready to do it all over again.
Yes. It's about, like we talked about, it's your response to stuff, not looking for things for other people to point fingers at.
Poor me.
Yeah,
Poor me.
It's the whole mentality, and that leads into obviously the guy we're going to talk about.
Oh Lord,
in a few minutes here, is Joel Embiid. But yeah, I actually like it. Like I thought I was going to hate it, right? The pitch clock, that is. I thought as a pure, right, the pure baseball guy that I didn't think I would like it, because I like long games. Like I like having if I have to run out, I come back and the game's still on, right? Like those things I do enjoy. It's a night game. Oh, this might go on to 11, right? But I get the side of it that these games are getting a little too long because everybody's taking their time. Again, as a hitter, I got in the box. I didn't need to do a million things in between. I got in, got ready to hit. We all did. It became too long, too stretched out, right? If you want to, like I talked about before, if you want to get rid of the pitch clock in the 9th inning, be my guest. If you want to get rid of the 8th inning or 7th inning and on, because those are more thinking times per se, okay, there's adjustment that could always be made to stuff. But I like it. I enjoy it. I like the next pitch getting ready to be thrown. Let's get after it. And I know we're not basing the game on the younger generation, but we have to a point, right? We have to look at the younger generation and say, we have to make this game more interesting and faster to the younger generation, which wants everything quicker. So now they're getting that. They're getting that next pitch is being thrown quickly. The action's faster. So I like it. I don't think there's no harm to it. Besides what we talked about, and we'll talk about it for a second now, the owner's pockets. Besides that, as a baseball fan, get back after for the next pitch. Let's go.
They've known for years the only way to speed up the game was to add a pitch clock. And I'm all for it. Like I said, I don't want hitters comfortable. I want hitters going in there unsure of what is going on. And I look at it. Now these games, I believe they average 2 hours and 37 minutes. Do you know how that is affecting the bottom line of the owners? The reason it has never been instituted before this year is because they make too much money on concessions, jersey sales, all that. And you take 40 minutes off a game. You know how much money that's costing owners?
Oh.
A ton. It may get adjusted to 30 seconds. They're going to do something. As soon as it starts affecting their bottom line, ownership will get together and change another rule. Like that damn ghost runner in the 10th inning. That's not baseball. I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with the game of baseball. That's like playing on a little league field that doesn't have lights. So, okay, put a guy on second next innings because it's fixing to get dark. That's just an ignorant way to run a baseball game.
Couldn't agree more. That stuff I have no time for. Like, finish the extra innings the right way. Okay, and if it goes longer, that goes longer. That's okay to go longer. That's extra innings, right? But
yeah,
the rest of the game, I got no problem with. Like we're talking about, speeding it up. Like, and Don. I mean, Tim Anderson feels. I feel like I like Tim Anderson. I think he's a sensational player, but I feel like he's got a problem with everything. Almost, I feel like he's got something to say about everything. Get in the box and swing, Tim. Actually, you know what? Get out of Chicago, Tim. That would be the first thing. Want to request yourself out of Chicago immediately because that's a dumpster fire of an organization over the last decade. Been terrible. Terrible organization. I actually feel bad for people that live in Chicago because of how bad the White Sox have been.
Well, every city goes through that, where they go through a downtime. And trust me, Southside Chicago, nobody wants to be there. It's just not a place. Number one, it ain't safe. And number two, it's just not a great place to play baseball.
Yeah,
now, on the north side,
it's not Wrigley.
No, it ain't Wrigley. It'll never be Wrigley.
You're like the stepchild. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a stepchild, and it's like the Mets. Right? I hate to say it. I mean, I don't hate to say it at all, actually. But it's like the Mets. You're never going to be the Yankees. You're never going to have that allure of the New York Yankees. You're the New York Mets. It's like the Islanders. They're the New York Islanders. You're not the Rangers. You're the Islanders. Like, nobody cares about the Angels, the LA Angels. Like, yeah, you got the two best players arguably in the sport, but nobody cares about you because you're not the Dodgers.
Ohtani, they are guaranteeing him $650 million with another $100 million in endorsements. Boy, how the game has changed.
Aren't you? You aren't lying. And if there's a guy worth it in today's game, it's the guy who can do both, which is absurd to see, modern day Babe Ruth. And I think and I think you would agree with the same thing. Over the next decade, even sooner, we're going to see more and more of this too. We're going to see a lot more of the two-way guys than we've ever seen before. We got about 8 minutes left in the show. We have one more quick commercial break to take, and we're going to come back, and the roast of Joel Embiid begins. Stay tuned.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
There you go, everybody. PhillySportsTrips.com. They just released their Eagles schedule, so go check them out. Book your getaway today. Mitch, I roasted this guy last night. He's a guy I always called my son in this city. And when I'm at the point where I've seen enough and I'm ready to move on, that should tell people out there a big something on how I feel about his effort last night. But go ahead. I've talked enough about it. The floor is yours.
How about game 6 and last night? I can tell you this for a fact. They have not invented a sport that you can play without a spine. And Joel Embiid, all he cared about was that MVP award. That's it. He had no spine in this series whatsoever. And he got schooled by a guy that the Sixers had and got rid of, Al Horford. Absolutely got schooled by him. And I watched that series. He and James Harden quit with 6 minutes left to go in game 6. James Harden didn't even show up yesterday.
Nope.
Embiid didn't show up yesterday. And the thing I really wanted to see happen, I wanted to see PJ Tucker get in Embiid's face again and tell him the MVP don't mean shit if we don't win. And I don't think that guy understands it. If it's me, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 6 times, I should be beat over the head with a pipe. And it's 6 times now this guy has disappeared in the postseason. There's guys that are winners, Jason Tatum, and there's guys that are losers. That's Joel Embiid. All he cared about was the MVP trophy. Winning a championship never entered the picture for this guy.
No, it didn't. It's there's been a lot of disappointment as a Philly sports fan, and I'm good with disappointment as long as I see effort. When I watch a game like I did last night, and I can sit here and do a live reaction to it and say, well, guess what? My best players just quit. My best players quit right in front of my eyes. Listen, you go lose and you compete and you lose by 2, 3, 5, but my eyes say you fought, you scratched, you clawed. I can live with it. But when I watch you guys quit, I can't live with that. I need something else. I'd rather go through the process all over again than be surrounded by quitters. And a lot of this is on Daryl Morey because he brought in another quitter. With all due respect. Yeah, you got rid of a quitter in Ben Simmons, but you brought another quitter in. So the next best player you brought in has been the definition of a quitter in his career. What's he ever won? You went and got a top 75 player in NBA history. Get out of here. Top 75. Then you didn't watch the game. The NBA guys who do this didn't watch the game. He's not top 75 at anything. It's a joke.
If I'm the owner of the Sixers, I am trading Embiid before God gets the news. And I don't care what we get back. Bring me back someone that will fight. Because Embiid, 285 pounds, 7'2" or whatever he is, how can a guy with hands that are this big lose the basketball so often? And how many times did we see him dunk the ball in that entire series? I think I saw him dunk once. How can you be 7'2" and dunk one time? It's embarrassing. And then all he does is make excuses and throw his teammates under the bus. And I can't stand that. When I lost the World Series, I lost the World Series. My teammates did not lose that World Series. I did. What was I going to blame Pete Incaviglia because he wasn't playing high enough in left field? No, I gave up the home run. I lost game 4. I lost game 6. It wasn't my teammates. It was me. And he refuses to accept responsibility for the fact that he's a quitter.
And I'll go a step further on this, right? In the baseball world, right, there's a lot that goes on through 8 innings that have other people's fingerprints on it too, right? So for you to say that just shows how much accountability. In the basketball world, where it's star-driven, nobody's coming in to close it out for you. It's star-driven. So it's on you from the start of the game to the finish of the game. Unlike any other sport, it's on you as the stars. Through my history of watching postseason basketball, that's where stars are made that are confirmed stars, not regular season stars, confirmed stars. I thought he was a star. You know what he is? He's a damn good player. That's all he is. He's a damn good player, and he can be somebody else's damn good player moving forward.
For me, he's not a damn good player. He's a guy that set one goal, and that was to win the MVP trophy. Had he played with the same amount of heart and intensity in these postseason games that he played in those regular season games to win that award, it's a whole different story. He has no heart. And then when he does suck, he blames it on every other teammate. And I can't stand that.
No, he does. I'm not built from that cloth. Obviously, you're not built from that cloth. You don't speak like that. You know, we take accountability for anything. Like anything in my life, I take accountability for. That's on me. I got to do a better job, whatever.
Exactly.
And people can give you crap after the game where, oh, he's giving the generic, I got to do a better job stuff. It's on me. No, but if you say it, it's better than saying, well, me and James can't do it ourselves. Knock it off, dude. Knock it off. You're going to tell me Jordan and Pippen couldn't do it themselves? They did it themselves. Did they have complimentary pieces around them to help? PJ Tucker had 11 points in the first quarter. Genius. Yeah, 11 points in the first quarter. So were you doing it yourself? No, you guys didn't show up while other guys did. Tyrese Maxey was playing a good game up until we got down 7, and you guys decided to quit. All right? There was other guys who were playing. Tobias was aggressive early. Don't tell me Tobias wasn't aggressive, because he was. So there's 3 of the 5 guys that showed up. But guess when they quit? Guess when they quit? I'm going to riddle everybody this. When the stars quit. That's when they quit.
Yeah, when you see the stars of your team giving no effort, there's a trickle-down effect. I would never be that way. I wouldn't care if the star of my team quit. I had too much pride. There is no pride in Joel Embiid and James Harden. They're prideless. To go up there and do what they did yesterday and do what they did in Game 6, take your ass home, because it's embarrassing to the city of Philadelphia. Philly is made up of fighters, not quitters. You fight in this town. And if you don't fight, you don't stay. Ask Ben Simmons. There have been a lot of guys run out of town because they didn't have the heart to hear the truth.
I feel like a guy, and we'll get out of here in a second. I feel like a guy like Scott Rowland was running out of town for
he didn't want to be a leader.
Yeah, for similar things where people didn't like it, right? They didn't sit well with people, and that's what happened.
I played when I came back with the Phillies in '96. I was down in Clearwater, and I played with Scott Rowland when he was playing third base coming up. That kid had so much talent; it was unbelievable. But for a manager to go to him and say, "You need to be the leader of this team," and him say, "I don't want to be a leader," get him out of here.
See it.
It's just that simple. If you're going to play in Philly, you better be damn well prepared to hear the truth, because you're going to get the truth every night.
As you should. You should, because we hold our players accountable.
If you want to be lied to, go pay someone else to lie to you.
It's great. Okay, getting out of here 1 second. Percent chance you believe ownership actually trades Joel Embiid?
Oh, I don't know. I think Daryl Morey might be smart enough to. 6 straight years of not being able to get out of the second round. That's a pattern that is not going to change. They have got to trade him. Trade him. Get anything. Get 2 guys that are willing to come in and fight for 48 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever it is. But when they're on the court, they are out there fighting and scrapping. And Harden and Embiid are 2 of the softest guys I've ever seen. They are not made to play in the city of Philadelphia.
Yep, and the guy told you he fought lions, right? That was my big thing about Joel Embiid for years. He fought lions. He's tough. He didn't fight a lion. He fought a kitty cat. He fought a kitty cat. That's all he ever fought.
I promise you, the lion knocked him down, because all he does is spend his time on the ground.
It's true. It's true. Mitch, another great show. Second weekend. Excited to get back on next Monday with you. Here's the thing with Mitch Williams and Tom Arnone. If you haven't, hit the like, subscribe, follow. Got tons of live shows on HUD Radio. Something for everybody. So, and we have our game show, our sports trivia game show starting tonight for everybody out there. And we're building it for the subscribers to come on. You'll win prizes, etc. So tune in tonight, 9:30 on HUD Radio. And the Sports Hounds are live tonight at 7:30 p.m. And tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., first morning show in HUD history, the Rob Ellis Show begins. So everybody stay tuned, stay locked and loaded. We appreciate you. We were brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go book your getaway today. Their Eagle schedule was just released.
Thank you all for the comments. Thanks for watching. Can't wait for next week, Tommy.
Let's go. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.